Hello and welcome to the third video in my series taking a more mathematical look at the economics you look at both A level and IB level. A full list of topics in this video series is appearing on your screen now, but what I want to look at in this video is explaining the shape of the average fixed cost curve. So if you recall your definition for average fixed cost equals your fixed cost divided by your quantity. And you should be comfortable with this idea that when you graph this, because you're dividing a fixed amount by an ever-increasing quantity, as we move right along our graph, average fixed cost is going to fall and it's going to get closer and closer, but it will never reach your horizontal axis. We can now look at this algebraically, and through the use of first derivatives and second derivatives, we can explain this shape more thoroughly. So the example that I'm going to use is, I'm going to say fixed cost equals 500. And you could just use a constant here. You could just call this A, and mathematically you will come up with the same result. Okay, so what this means is, I'm just going to say e.g. Average fixed cost equals 500 over Q now, just using our definition of average fixed cost up here. Another way of writing this is 500 Q to the minus 1. And now if I take my first derivative of average fixed cost with respect to quantity, so I'm differentiating this with respect to quantity, I get minus 500Q to the minus 2. So what this tells us is that this is always going to be negative. There's no way that this expression here can come out positive. So our average fixed cost is always going to be downward sloping. Okay, the gradient of our average fixed cost curve is going to be downward sloping at all points. Okay, which is what we've got here. And now if I take my second derivative of average fixed cost, with respect to quantity. Now what I get is, I'm differentiating this thing here with respect to quantity, I get positive 1000 Q to the minus 3. So what this tells us is that our second derivative is positive, and it's always going to be positive because in here your quantity will always be positive. So our function is convex, which means that our gradient is getting more and more positive. So as you go down our average fixed cost curve, remember our gradient will always be negative, but it's getting less and less negative as quantity increases. So therefore our average fixed cost curve is going to approach the horizontal axis, but it's never going to cross it. Thanks for watching my video. Feel free to check out some of the other content available on my channel, or you can leave me a comment if there's anything in particular you'd like to see.